Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has monitored the conduct of the area council elections across the FCT, describing the process as peaceful and orderly. The minister visited polling units where he interacted with ad hoc staff of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to assess the level of compliance and voter turnout. Kabir Hassan reports.
Speaking during the visit, Wike expressed satisfaction with the conduct of exercise. At another polling unit, INEC officials informed the FCT minister that although the process was smooth, turnout in some areas are low.
Very low. Only about 10% of our only 10%.
Across monitored polling units, electoral materials arrived early, accreditation and voting commenced as scheduled, and security personnel were visibly deployed to maintain law and order. Residents who spoke commended the peaceful atmosphere and transparency of the process.
This is Ward and top locally 002. The processes that have been done are perfect. Very, very perfect. As you can see, I'm already accredited and I'm 100% ready to go and cast my vote.
I think everything is going well. The accreditation is going smoothly, not like as before. So everything to me is okay. You can see it by yourself. The security are moving around. The situation is calm. Everywhere is good. In fact, this year and this year election is what we expected.
The election here has been peaceful. There's no violence and everything is going smoothly. The process is transparent. We can see everything clearly and party agents are observing. Observers noted that although voter turnout varied across polling units, the exercise was largely hitch-free. As voting concluded in some polling units, officials commenced sorting and counting of ballots in the presence of party agents and observers. The FCT area council election is expected to produce chairmen and councillors across the councils, with residents hopeful that those elected will deliver on grassroots development. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News. Speaking during the visit, Wike expressed
Eligible voters trooped to various polling centers to exercise their franchise in the Federal Territory Area Council elections, with mixed reports of early arrival of materials in some polling units and delays in others. Samuel Odi tells us more.
We're currently here at the polling unit 013 at Asokoro, just a very short distance away from ECOWAS Commission Secretariat here in Abuja. We saw and noticed at exactly 8:21 a.m. electoral materials arrived with INEC officials, and we are accompanied by some security personnel who are here to ensure that everything transpired swiftly as Abuja decides. So we'll give you developing stories as the electoral process is underway. However, situation was different at polling unit 020 in Nyanya Federal Housing, where voters' turnout was described as massive early as at 6 a.m., but election materials were yet to arrive as at 10 a.m. Frustrated but patient voters waited on the trees, calling on electoral officials to expedite deployment to avoid disenfranchisement.
As you can see, this is Federal Housing. This is polling unit 020, and if you as you can see now, this is getting to 10 o'clock now. Up till now, we have not seen our election materials up till now, and other places have started voting now. They are doing accreditation and all of that, but up till now, the whole Federal Housing, as you can see now, there's no election materials, nothing. I'm just coming from the collation center, and in Nyanya, 95% of them now have left the collation center, so we don't know what is going on. And look at time now, and according to the INEC, by now our election materials are supposed to be in the polling unit up till now, so we don't know what is going on, Nigerians. So this is what is happening.
We're here since 6 o'clock, so we are told the election is starting by 8:30. So up to now, we haven't seen anything. And there is no any update as it is now. We are just waiting for INEC officials.
Some voters expressed concerns that delays could dampen morale if not urgently addressed, while others maintained confidence that the process would stabilize as the day progressed. Electoral observers say the contest in logistics highlights the need for improved coordinations to ensure uniform commencement across polling units. As voting continues across the area councils, residents are hopeful for a peaceful and credible exercise, while attention now turns to how quickly delayed polling units will be supplied to generate full participation in the democratic process. Samuel Odi for
of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Zephania Bitrus Jasolo, says the FCT Council elections were generally peaceful, describing the exercise as free and fair. Obong Usoro reports.
Speaking after casting his vote at voting unit 02 in Gariki, the minister expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the process.
The INEC, they are all here, and they are all over the Sierra Council, and they are conducting an election free and fair, no hitches, and I believe the security agents are also doing their job. I can see the atmosphere is very calm, everything is going well.
He commended the Independent National Electoral Commission for the timely deployment of electoral materials and personnel, noting that voter turnout was encouraging.
The people of Abuja Council will smile because I believe they are voting the candidate of their choice. And I believe that people are doing their rightful voting. And would want, the people want to realize the winner of the election.
Right Honorable Jalasu also praised security agencies for maintaining order and ensuring a safe environment for residents to exercise their civic responsibility. He urged eligible voters who are yet to cast their ballots to take advantage of the peaceful atmosphere and participate in the democratic process. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
Voting in the Federal Capital Territory Area Council election was largely peaceful in Buari, with stakeholders expressing satisfaction over the conduct of the exercise. Security agencies, electoral officials, and voters all reported to a calm atmosphere. Sadia Yakubu tells us more.
Accreditation and voting commenced earlier in several polling units visited as officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission deployed materials and personnel across the area councils. Security operatives were also seen stationed at strategic locations to maintain order. The Commissioner of Police for FCT, Mila Dantawai, who monitored the exercise in Buari Area Council, described the process as orderly and free of major security breaches.
To the best of my knowledge and what I have seen so far, the conduct of the election has been peaceful. I have thought this will be my 6th or 7th polling unit on this stretch alone.
The current chairman of the area council and candidate for a second term, John Gabaya, also commended the electoral body for what he described as a smooth and transparent process.
The process of our election today in Area Capital, as you can see, this is in ward and top locally in 002. The processes that have been done very, very perfect. As you can see, I've already been detailed.
Some voters who participated in the exercise expressed confidence in the process, noting the peaceful conduct and orderly arrangement at polling units.
Everything is going well. The accreditation is going smoothly, not like as before. So everything to me is okay.
Stakeholders have urged residents to sustain the peaceful atmosphere through coalition and announcements of results. Sadia Yakubu for Global TV News.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Joash Amupiton, has expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections following an assessment visit to the polling units within Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC. Aniete Patrick tells us more.
At several polling units visited within AMAC, the INEC chairman described the exercise as orderly, peaceful and efficient, key indicators, he says, of a credible election. Professor Amopiton commended the performance of the bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS, noting that accreditation was seamless and took less than 5 seconds per voter. He said the effective deployment of technology would further strengthen the integrity of the electoral process, ensuring that only accredited voters cast their ballots and that results are transmitted transparently.
As far as the efficiency of the BVAS is concerned, I am very satisfied because the BVAS have worked effectively and efficiently.
The INEC chairman also observed a large voter turnout, describing it as a positive sign of growing civic awareness and public confidence in the system. Security presence, he noted, was adequate, with about 30 personnel stationed at some polling locations to maintain order. On reports of minor logistical challenges in a few polling units, including delayed arrival of materials, the INEC chairman said over 99% of polling units opened as scheduled, while issues recorded in isolated areas were swiftly addressed through security reinforcements and real-time monitoring from the Commission Situation Room.
So far, we have gotten very good reports from all the polling units. The atmosphere is very calm in all the polling units. The only area we had problem was in Abaji. And immediately, we deployed security men, and the ugly incident was tamed. And so voting has resumed there.
Looking ahead to 2027, Professor Amopiton expressed confidence that the consistent deployment of BVAS and adherence to due process would continue to guarantee credible elections and strengthen public trust in Nigeria's democratic process. He expressed optimism that at the close of polls, the FCT elections would be adjudged free, fair, and successful. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
3 major opposition parties, the PDP, the People's Democratic Party, New Nigerian People's Party, and African Democratic Congress are missing on the ballot papers for the Kano State House of Assembly by-election. The by-election is being conducted to fill 2 vacant seats in the State Assembly following the deaths of the former lawmakers last year, who were members of the NNPP before their demise. According to the report, mailing polling units had only a handful of voters, with INEC officials seated and prepared, awaiting more constituents. The candidate of the All Progressive Congress for the Ahado East constituency 2 by-election, Napoleon Ukalakbe, has commended voters for turning out in large numbers to participate in the exercise. Ukalakbe also lauded the Independent National Electoral Commission for the peaceful conduct of the election in the area so far. He stated this shortly after casting his vote at the Upele Town Unit 1, Ward 9 in Ahoda East local government area of Rivers State on Saturday. Ukalakbe expressed satisfaction with both the turnout and the general conduct of the exercise, describing the voting process as smooth and orderly. Over now to Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa has dismissed reports of an alleged impeachment plot against his deputy, Dr. Olayide Adelami, describing the claims as unfounded and political rumors. Speculations had circulated within political circles, suggesting internal divisions and a possible move within the State House of Assembly linked to local power dynamics in our local government area. Now, the governor reaffirmed stability within his administration amid reports connecting the controversy to broader political alignments within the state. The federal government will, on February 25th, arraign former Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai before the Federal High Court in Abuja over alleged cybercrime and breach of national security. The Department of State Services filed a 3-count charge accusing him of unlawful interception of communications linked to the National Security Advisor and of failing to report alleged security breaches contrary to Cybercrimes Act 2024 and Nigeria Communications Act 2003. The charges followed his recent media interview and separate engagement with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over alleged 440 billion naira corruption allegations during his tenure as governor. The Federal High Court in Lagos has ruled that the Nigerian police force acted unlawfully within its declared activist Omoyele Sowore wanted, awarding 30 million naira in damages against the police authorities. Justice Musa Kakaki held that the declaration violated constitutional safeguards, noting that a person can only be declared wanted following a valid court warrant and due process. And the court described the police action as unconstitutional and an abuse of power, reaffirming protections for free speech and peaceful protest. Troops of Operation Hadi Kai has arrested suspected Boko Haram collaborators and recovered drones and logistics equipment during coordinated operations across Adamawa and Borno State. Military authorities confirmed the neutralization of a terrorist commander and the seizure of arsenal drones allegedly intended by insurgents' weaponization and operational use. The operations form part of intensified efforts to dismantle insurgent supply chains and strengthen security across the Northeast. At least 50 people were killed and several women and children abducted after armed men attacked Tukundutse village in Zamfara State in an assault that lasted several hours. Local sources said the attackers moved across communities on motorcycles, shooting residents, burning buildings, and evading security despite prior warnings reportedly issued about their movement. The incident underscored worsening insecurity in parts of northern Nigeria, raising fresh concerns about the responsiveness of security forces. Now, the Kogi State Ministry of Education has announced that all public and private schools will resume academic activities on Monday, February 23rd, following an emergency midterm break declared over insecurity concerns. The earlier closure announced on February 3rd affected institutions statewide as preventive security measures. Education authorities have directed school administrators, students, and parents to comply with the resumption scheduled as normal academic activities are set to continue. You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. News Cycle continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the weather forecast. As we continue observing the Ramadan and Lenten season, temperatures are taking a noticeable dip, and it's especially cooler at night, so don't be caught off guard. Keep your clothing warm. Now, the atmosphere is still dominated with dust haze. From the north down to the inland cities of the south, moderate dust haze is expected, and visibility is reduced to 2 to 5 kilometers. If you're sensitive to dust particles, please take necessary precautions and use a nose mask when stepping outdoors. Along the coast, cloudy skies with sunshine intervals are expected during the morning hours, but later during the day, thunderstorms are expected to develop along parts of Bayelsa Rivers, Delta, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom states. That's the forecast for Saturday. I am Theodora Itum. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the World Bank is set to approve a $500 million loan to Nigeria by March 30th, 2026 to boost agricultural productivity and straighten value chains under the Nigerian Sustainable Agricultural Value Chains for Growth project. The facility, to be fully financed through the International Development Association, will support smallholder farmers, promote private sector investment, and address structural gaps that have left Nigeria importing nearly $10 billion worth of food annually, despite agriculture employing about 1/3 of the workforce. If approved, the credit will add to Nigerians' rising exposure to the World Bank, with country's debt to IDA standing at $18.7 billion as of December 2025, highlighting growing resilience on constitutional funding amid fiscal constraints. And on the foreign news now, United States President Donald Trump has launched a stinging attack on 6 Supreme Court justices after they struck down his administration's global tariff, describing the ruling as deeply disappointing and accusing the majority of lacking courage. The court held that presidents do not have inherent authority to impose sweeping tariffs without congressional backing, prompting Trump to question the judgment and suggest the court may have been influenced by foreign interests, though he provided no evidence. While praising Justice Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Brent for dissenting, Trump criticized both Republican and Democratic appointees in the majority and vowed to explore alternative methods to sustain his trade policies. Hezbollah warned Saturday that it would have no choice but to fight on after an Israeli strike on targets in Lebanon killed 8 of its operatives. Lebanon's government has vowed to disarm Hezbollah, but Israel insists it retains the right to defend itself by striking the Iran-backed militant group. The Israeli military said it had hit Hezbollah command centers in eastern Lebanon and targets linked to the Palestinian group Hamas in the south. In sports stories, now the Nigerian Football Federation has confirmed that the Super Eagles will participate in a 4-nation invitational tournament in Amman, Jordan, during next month's international window. Nigeria will open against Iran on March 27th at the Amman International Stadium before facing host Jordan on March 31st, while Costa Rica completes the lineup of participating teams. And the tournament offers the 3-time African champions an opportunity to test squad depth and tactical adjustments ahead of upcoming competitive fixtures. Now that's it on News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.